We spent the past couple of years in a crazy hot market. Louisville home sales decline as demand outpaces supply. Effective communication is at the core of any situation. If you master these two ideas, you'll have a chance of being successful at residential real estate marketing. I think you need to be looking for investment opportunities that move the needle. The market will never crash if demand exceeds supply. This is what I've been telling you all along.
This is the Jay Pitts Show.
And we're back, folks. Welcome back to the Jay Pitts Show. I'm your host, Jay Pitts. Ryan Harris. I do have some good ideas sometimes, Ryan.
Yeah, I just had a funny thought.
Sometimes.
At the end of that intro, when it says, this is what I've been telling you. I imagine that's just what your kids are going to hear for like growing up. This is what I've been telling you.
I've been telling you all along.
You could just play that instead of actually saying it.
You know, I have a very opinionated, very intelligent, usually correct 11-year-old. And he's just not as correct as mom and dad are, right? Not as often.
And even if he is, you're not going to tell him that.
Well, honestly, I do tell him sometimes. I mean, there are selective moments where I absolutely abstain from notifying him of his correctness. There, you know, if you're not a parent or if your kids don't speak yet, you haven't, learned this just yet. But there are certainly moments to selectively obscure the truth for your children. That is absolutely good parenting. I will not hear it any differently. But I do like him to know, frankly, how often he is correct. Because I don't want to destroy his spirit. I mean, he's a very opinionated, very spirited kid. And I just don't want him thinking that just because it's inconvenient for him to be correct, I don't want him to get his spirit broke for that reason. You know, I'm always telling him he's wrong when every fiber of his being is telling him that he's right. But there are moments where you have to break it down a little bit and just be like, "Look, dude, you're not right. I'm sorry. I know you feel like you are. I'm not even mad at you for feeling strongly about your opinions, but I've just lived more than you. You couldn't possibly know things that I know. It's not possible. You know much more than you should. I want to acknowledge that. But yeah, man, he does not take it well.
That's good, though. You know, it's very valuable and a great characteristic to have, like knowing when you're wrong.
Oh, man.
Because it helps with every aspect of life. Like, it's important to know when you're wrong and when you need to learn something, because the people that never think they're wrong, one, are the most annoying people in the world, and two, probably don't get better at things that they should.
Oh, we have some of that with him. It's very frustrating. He gets very annoying because he just digs in, right? I will also say, though, as from being raised by a very uncompromising individual, my father was very uncompromising. Uncompromising people achieve a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Sure.
it's almost like they walk around with armor on. Like they're bulletproof. Like you shoot them, they don't feel it. They just keep moving forward.
That's true.
Like, so yes, humility is important. Understanding you're wrong is important. I think it's inspiring to admit that you're wrong.
Yeah.
If you want to be an inspiring individual, being able to admit you're wrong. So here's the thing, like think about this. Most people judge, whether we would want to admit it or not, an individual in their presence in an instant, right? Very short periods of time, we make character judgments about people based on how you carry yourself, your confidence, your lack of confidence, whatever it may be, right? So if you're an achiever, right? So what people know about you before meeting you, and then what they learn in the instant that they meet you. If they perceive you as a high achiever, as an inspiring individual, and then you show humility on top of that, it's a game changer.
Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit on this show.
Absolutely.
It's because you don't expect it.
No, you expect someone who is so good at something to be cocky, to be unrelenting. But then you flip it and show that you're vulnerable too. It's really, I don't know, it's impactful.
Yeah. So since we're on the parenting thing a little bit, I just came from a listing shoot out at some new construction homes I have in Meade County. I was talking to Austin Sauer, who does some of the photos for my houses. And he has, I don't know how old their first child is, like 2.5, and a 4-month-old. He's been training for an Ironman. And we were talking about, like, right now it feels like, okay, 4 things: work, help with the kids or baby, working out, and sleeping. Okay, you got those 4. You got to give up one. Like, or you not give up, but you have to.
So you're saying if you had to, which would you choose? Or
right, yeah.
Oh,
and it's sleep for
it's
me right now.
It's sleep for
I
most.
have to work out.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, if you've made that lifestyle shift, like I don't know what I would give up. I wouldn't give up working out. I'd find a way to make that happen. But you're right. You do end up sacrificing sleep. But it's funny. I'm 15 years older than you.
I'm 27.
Yeah, and I'm about to be 42, so almost 15 years older than you. And what I can tell you is, you probably need sleep even more as you age, but for some reason, your body rejects sleep more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I go to sleep very early, but I also wake up very early naturally. I mean, you text me at 5:50 this morning.
That reminds me.
Did I respond instantly?
Yeah, I was going to say on this show, I know Jay's going to respond fast, and he's probably more okay with me texting him at 5:30 in the morning
than 11.
Nobody else is texting him.
Then at 11 p.m., I
Yeah.
can guarantee you, because I'm asleep at 11 p.m. most nights.
Yeah, so this morning I texted Jay, hey, we're going to do a Louisville events draft.
Yeah.
Which you'll see at the end of the show. It's going to be really good. We're going to pick our favorite Louisville events.
It's going to be awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah, hopefully going to be
I don't
awesome.
think I'm as prepared as I was last week, but we'll get there.
Yeah, so I ran I want to talk about this. I ran the Urban Bourbon this past weekend. Didn't train for it. And it was, I started my running journey about 14 months ago.
How are the
My
calves?
first race was the Urban Bourbon. And I had a goal to break 2 hours, and I took everything out of me to do it. This time I paced a friend to break 2 hours. He did it by about 50 seconds, and I didn't train for it, and it was a piece of cake for me.
Really?
I mean, I just floated through
Mental.
it. And no.
Course difference?
So no, it was a different course, but I think it was a harder course. Like 5 miles were in Cherokee.
Oh.
So there was a ton of hills. Now,
Any Iroquois? How much Iroquois?
no Iroquois.
No Iroquois. Iroquois is hard.
Yeah. So, but here's what I think it is, and we've talked about. I ran the marathon, Derby Marathon, and I've consistently ran since then. And it just goes back to like consistently good is better than occasionally great. Like I didn't even train for this, and just putting more miles on my feet made it 1,000 times easier for me. It was pretty cool to see and notice a difference from last year to this year.
I'm gonna say something too that it's been a long time since I've done any running, and I probably wasn't ever as good at it as you were. But I did run a full marathon. It was not a great experience. I've run multiple half marathons. Running used to be like probably around the same age that you are now. Running was important to me because it was quiet. It cleared my head. I got to be by myself. Like a lot of times. I did train for the marathon with a group, but something about knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
Like running the marathon was the first half was amazing. I ran the first half in 1 hour and 47, like blazing fast for me. And I ended up over 5 hours because I completely broke down in the second half because I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
And I think if I had to do it again, I would, like you said, you pay somebody, you understand that I was not prepared. And so, but as my experience with minis, they always got easier.
Yeah.
As time went along because you knew what to expect.
I think knowing what to expect though makes training the next time easier, but it makes that decision
To do it
again harder because you know what to expect.
Yeah.
You
I just
know
mean
what
on
it
race
feels
day.
like.
On race day, you're not going to have those faux pas that I had. You
Yeah.
know, like going out way too fast on a day that's way hotter than most of my training. Just I had the right equipment, but I didn't know how to use it. So anyway.
Yeah. But all right, I guess we can talk a little
Real estate.
Yeah, we can go into real estate or talk about some Louisville stuff if we want to. The football loss was disappointing.
Very, very disappointing. Let's do that, and then let's wrap. Do we have time? You think for the?
We'll open up the next segment.
We'll open up the
with
next
real
segment.
estate.
Okay.
So
Louisville football was obviously disappointing. Telegraphed by Brom in his post game after the Notre Dame win that he was prone to bad losses after big wins.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much been his MO as,
I thought it was
as a
going to be
coach.
talked about enough where it wouldn't happen. And
I
heard about it enough.
I think that's what he was trying to do. He had some injuries to overcome, both Jawar Jordan, and why am I blanking on the wide receiver? Both plagued by injuries. Wide receiver, our best wide receiver. Why am I blanking?
I am too.
Yeah, it's awful.
Pro Louisville radio show.
Yeah, we're not good. Louisville wide receiver. Anyway, he ended up with 100 yards receiving, but Jordan only played the first. Jawar Jordan, rumored Heisman candidate, plays one series. Not to say that he can't bounce back, but yeah, it just kind of an implosion in terms of offense. Couldn't run the ball. Jamari Thrash, that's who I was looking for. Jamari Thrash had over 100 yards receiving in the loss, but lots of turnovers, against a really, really bad Pitt team on the road. So, anyway.
Louisville Red-White game was last night. It started off, or not the Red-White game, sorry, their first exhibition.
Okay. I'm glad that you brought this up. Yeah, it was Simmons College, which they beat by 50 points.
But it was close for a little while.
Well, here's the thing. Did you see Kenny Payne's post game?
No.
So he quoted the blue-white scrimmage and then immediately corrected himself.
That's tough.
And it's going around the Louisville Twitterverse, which is not Twitter anymore. It's on X. All the Louisville people on X are reposting the clip where he refers to it as the blue-white scrimmage versus the red-white scrimmage. I mean, come on, man.
Normally, it probably wouldn't be a big deal, but when you're on the hot seat, it is. But we're going to cut to a couple ad sponsors here, and we'll be back talking real estate finally on this show.
Yeah.
Jay Pitt Show, Talk Radio 1080. See you in a sec. Welcome back to the Jay Pitt Show, Talk Radio 1080, Real News, Real Talk. I'm your co-host, Ryan Harris. All right, consumer real estate question for you.
Yes.
So, you're buying a house, and it's an HOA, and you put the offer in, goes under contract. A couple days later, you call the HOA asking what the fee covers, and they tell you that driveway needs to be paved. Whether it's you that does it or the people that own it now. Mm-hmm. What options do you have? You're inside the inspection period. It wasn't mentioned on the seller's disclosure. What options do you have?
You've conducted the inspection already or not?
No.
Okay. So to clarify, had the seller been made aware by the HOA that the repair needed to be made?
No.
Before, so this is the first it's been spoken by the HOA. Okay, so there was no requirement for the seller to disclose this required repair. Had they been notified by the HOA prior to, they would be required to disclose the repairs required by the HOA going forward.
Right. There's no way for them to disclose it when they don't know.
They don't know, then they don't know. Okay, so that was my first concern because a non-disclosure issue is another issue. You have the right to object to the condition of the property unilaterally after the hiring. Now, let me clarify. When using a Greater Louisville Association of Realtors contract, the inspection contingency says that if you hire a licensed inspector, you can object to the condition, the findings. You can release the contract unilaterally, right? And I don't have to be an attorney to tell you that. It's literally written in plain English. So, yeah, you go ahead, you conduct your inspection, right? You ask the seller to make the repairs, or you cancel. If you're just not happy, you cancel, and then you chalk the $500 in inspection fees up to, diligence costs, and you move on. Or you ask them and they say yes or no, and you negotiate it out. If you don't like their offering, then you can ultimately terminate the contract. Mm-hmm. So really, I think there's a choice for you to make. Are you willing to accept a repair on it, or are you not? And where we run sideways is when people find out stuff like this, they predetermine that the seller's not going to be willing to fix it. And then they don't want to spend the money on the inspection because they think the deal's dead already. And then they try to limp out of a contract without exercising a valid contingency. And then you're, in essence, breaching the contract just by process.
Yeah.
So I think you spend the money. Spend the money. You got to be prepared to lose $1,000 anytime you attempt to buy a house.
Yeah.
And if you're not prepared to lose $1,000 in the process of attempting to buy a home, then you shouldn't be making offers.
Yeah.
That's kind of where my head is.
Okay.
And that's, again, we're not going to let you lose $1,000 if you've done nothing wrong. But if you conduct a home inspection in good faith and the findings are not to your liking, you decide to walk away, that money's spent. And you have to look at it like that. So I'm curious, like, it's kind of specific here. Specific.
Yeah.
Is this a specific deal situation?
It is. It's all taken care of, though.
Okay, gotcha. All right, moving on.
So I can't find the article anymore, but I don't know if you saw this the other day. A lot less agents are switching brokerages now as compared to pandemic
Really?
levels.
I hadn't seen this.
The article didn't say any reason why. It was just stating statistics. Do you have any insight as to why you think that might be the case?
I don't know. I mean, maybe the calm before the storm. I mean, you have to figure.
Maybe it's people thinking about leaving the industry and they're like, what's the point of switching a brokerage?
Maybe. I mean, this has got to be some historical perspective here. So, like, does this go back a year? Well, if it goes back a year, then, you've had mostly good markets. If it goes back 2 years, then that was really good markets. So why people are less likely to move when they're busy. They're more likely to move when things are slow. So have we experienced enough slow market to get people to really consider leaving? I think you're probably right. There's probably some people contemplating leaving the industry altogether. Retirement. It could be, Ryan, that why we haven't seen retirement in the numbers that we kind of tend to expect based on the average age of a real estate agent. Maybe the reason we're not seeing that is the move towards lower fees, right? Where brokerages have raced to the bottom on fees. And what's the incentive to retire? You can just stop working, not really pay any fees, sell a house every once in a while, make a little bit of money, and you're basically retired. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? It's just more agents doing fewer deals, which is precisely the kind of market that I can appreciate, because what does that do to my competition? What lowers the level of legitimacy in my competition when more agents do fewer deals and I'm the one that's doing a lot of deals makes me, by comparison, look a lot better.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with the number of agents in the market.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Let's move on. I sent you this thread on Twitter the other day. Did you take a look at it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So it's Nick Gurley tweeted this. Here's an ominous indicator for the housing market. The 10-year government bond now yields a higher return than the cap rate or profit from operating a rental property. No wonder real estate investor demand is collapsing. More profitable to buy bonds. So let's break this down, maybe sentence by sentence, and talk about the chart a little bit.
Well, yeah. So I don't think that this is as recent as he states. Now, he's certainly tracking the 10-year Treasury, but there are other bonds that you've been able to yield in excess of cap rates for a while, especially when you adjust, for some fees and some things and some implications that cap rate doesn't necessarily capture.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, like, if you're talking about,
and this is also, it's the average cap rate, I believe, in the country, and this chart's showing it like 4.6%. I can assure you, most investors are not buying a house if that's the cap
at
rate.
4.6%. Yeah, I'm buying 4 investment properties right now that are 8% cap rate.
Yeah.
Right. So, which is lower than I would like, but I see the value in 5% treasuries, which are a thing. So yeah. I mean, this absolutely is going to pull people out of the market. Now, treasuries are very simple investments, very simple, kind of instruments. And the complexity of real estate certainly has its advantages. Scarcity, is one thing. The demand for bonds is quite volatile. Yes, you get some guaranteed income, but when you get in, when you get out, it's not really up to you. They're not quite as liquid. I don't know, man. I just, this is absolutely a thing and has been for quite some time. In certain areas, cap rates have been well below 4.6% for a long time. This is why California investors are buying in Kentucky, right? And have been for some time, because you could get, 7, 8, 9, 10% in Kentucky, where you were looking at 2, 3, 4% in California. And this was a long time ago. So it's just not as novel. The treasuries are picking up. I think they're a strategy that employs some of those. Especially if you've got a lot of cash laying around and you don't want to go all in on real estate, I think treasuries are a good alternative.
Yeah, it's just funny. I always think about 4 years ago, if you go back, you would have bought as many homes as you could. And probably 4 years before that, you wish you would have bought as many homes as you could. And probably right now, you'll look back 4 years later and wish you could have bought as many homes as you could right now.
Absolutely.
And
that's just what I'm looking at. So I'll give you the kind of general thesis on the investment I'm making now. Neighborhoods that I own property already. Areas where my property management company already takes. In fact, these were investments that are already managed by my property management company. Had an owner approach me about, making a sale. They had a reasonable ask. I was able to, be very direct and transparent in my negotiation and stated a price that would work for me. Substantially higher than I've ever paid for real estate in that area. Existing leases, no immediate disruption in cash flow instantly.
Yep.
No immediate large-scale repairs needed. Just operate the assets. Just take them over. Operate them. And I'm financing them at 8%. Like, they're not phenomenal investments in terms of cash flow. They're basically cash flow neutral. Putting down 20 to 25%, that's fine. I've got cash on hand to do that. And the way I look at it is if I had to move a tenant, let's say a lease expired and a tenant moved out, and I had to drop 20 grand in one of these, I'm paying roughly 100 grand for all four of them. So 400,000 total investment. If I drop 20 grand in one of them, I could sell it for 150. So there's 30 grand worth of equity left after 20 grand gets spent. Tip top market. Like, there's comps to justify it. Like, I'm fine with that. So again, 4 years from now, I'm going to look back and be glad I did.
Yeah. Or, man, you could have bought like 3 Bitcoin for that right now.
No.
All right. We're going to cut to a couple ad sponsors, and we'll be back on the Jay Pitts Show. Talk Radio 1080. Real news, real talk. See you in a sec.
And we're back, folks. Welcome back to the Jay Pitts Show. Talk Radio 1080. We're going to talk a little baseball. What do you think, man? You been watching?
So I feel like it happens every time around the playoffs. I don't watch much baseball regular season, and I feel like a lot of people are this way, fall in love with it again during the playoffs. The atmosphere. And I misspoke on another show. They are doing the pitch clock in the playoffs.
They are.
And it makes it awesome. Love it.
I noticed that. It cruises. Game cruises.
It's amazing. I can actually sit down and watch a whole game at night. It's great.
The crazy thing for me is how native it's become to the pitchers already.
Yeah.
Like, watching the other day, I guess it wasn't the other day, but it was, a week or so ago. But like Spencer Strider, the ace for the Braves. Like, I watched him, and they've got a camera angle that's kind of like on him, and the pitch clock is in the background, like on the outfield wall. And so you can barely see it. You see it counting down. He never looks at it, never looks in the direction of the one that is out in front of, in his field of view. Never even looks. Like, does a few things, gets on the mound immediately, starts like with like 9 seconds, rocks, and just starts his motion with like 9 seconds left on the pitch clock. Releases the ball like, 5, 6 seconds left. Boom, done. Every time gets the ball back from the catcher, does the same thing, same routine, and it's just like it doesn't even exist.
Probably gets them in a better rhythm.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you this: there is absolutely rhythm to that. Like, I'm sure even like you didn't play in college or anything, but you probably played enough to, like, when the pitcher's cruising, like the coach will tell you to call time and step out of the box, like to like slow down, because pitchers get going downhill. You got to do something to disrupt that, because it's hard enough to hit a baseball in the first place.
Yeah. And Brandon Pfaadt. He's pitching his third game tonight.
That's exciting.
Against the Phillies. They're back. Arizona's back home down 0-2. So they need a win.
Did you watch those first two games?
I did.
The
Yeah.
Phillies offense is so good when it's clicking, though. Man.
Yeah.
So good.
I
mean,
did watch both
I hope he has a
games.
good. I hope he has a good outing, but
It's going to be tough.
It's gonna be tough when you got
Schwarber
Harper. and Harper going so good.
Trey Turner.
Turner's legit, but they're probably not even the hottest hitter, like the 5 hitters, like the hottest hitter in the lineup right now. I'll have to look up that guy's name.
I feel like these MLB players, who can hit the most home runs? Like, which team's going to hit the most home runs? The Phillies have hit 13 solo home runs in a row.
I know.
Record.
I mean, what do you do? What do you say to that? I mean, it's Castellanos. That's the right fielder. Like that dude is so on fire.
Yeah, and
But
Houston got a big win last night. They were down 0-2.
They did, which that's my son's favorite team. He
Is
loves.
it?
Yeah, he's
How did that happen?
I don't know, man. Like, so he's well, I can tell you how it happened. So in 2018, I was in Boston. We were going to Boston. It happened to be on fall break. Well, it's kind of convoluted. I'll make it short. We were supposed to go to Disney for fall break, and then I was going to fly from Disney to Boston for a conference. Well, a hurricane came through, and it pretty much washed out our Disney trip. And instead of like Jen and the kids just deciding to stay home, that was before Colton, but Jen, Evie, and Preston staying home, we pivoted and went to Boston. And Jen was able to find ALCS tickets because Houston was playing Boston at Fenway while we were there, and I don't know what she spent on the tickets. I don't want to know, but I took my son. So I had never been to Fenway, which is I'm a go to all stadiums guy, and so Preston has been to a lot. Most of the ones I've been to, he's already been to. So I was definitely wanting to go to Fenway, and the ALCS was there, and we were in Boston. We don't have a chance to go to Boston. I mean, I don't have a reason to go to Boston much. So anyway, and Altuve went absolutely nuts that game, and so he loves.
So he was impartial going to the game.
He was impartial going to the game, and he didn't fall in love with the home team, which I was surprised.
Yeah, I was going to say that's surprising.
But especially at Fenway, it's like
yeah,
most romantic place. I mean, you could argue Wrigley, but like probably Fenway. And he came away from that being a Jose Altuve fan. And so since then, he's just all about some Altuve.
Yeah, I've eaten in the restaurant at Fenway's home run wall.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's pretty cool.
See a game?
No, there's no
right.
game going on, but
Right.
it was cool. Yeah.
You got to make it sometime, man. Boston fans are nuts.
I got to go to the old Yankee Stadium. I've been to the new Yankee Stadium.
I've only been to new. I never made it to old.
Been to Wrigley.
Me too.
So
I won't list them, but I've been to a lot. Any new city during the MLB season, if they're home, we're going. Like Jen understands. You got to figure it out. We got to work it in. I don't care if it's like Washington D.C. and it's like we're doing a history lesson for the kids. I haven't been to that stadium. We're going.
there you go.
We're going to see the Nationals.
All right, let's jump away from sports just a little bit. Netflix. Here's an article. Netflix ups prices as growth spikes. So, Netflix did their password crackdown, and this article says Netflix's crackdown on password sharing has paid dividends again. In an unexpectedly robust way in the third quarter, shares of Netflix jumped in early trading Thursday after the streamer said it tacked on another 8.8 million paying members. That was far more than the 6 million they were expecting. They're also raising prices in the U.S. again for the basic from $9.99 to $11.99, and the premium tiers going from $19.99 to $22.99. And I think this is a perfect example of like nobody's really ever done password crackdown. They're the first people to do it right. It's making them a ton of money, and they've built such a brand where they can just raise prices and people are going to keep paying.
I agree. So number one, culture's on their side. Okay. So, and what I mean by that is I find it, so I have YouTube TV, right? I don't log into YouTube TV very often, like very rarely. Like somebody the other day was like, talking about The Voice.
To watch sports, I guess
It's literally live sports is all. And these streaming platforms are starting to get live sports without the need for other channels. I don't watch any cable news. I don't watch any local news. I don't watch any scripted programming. Except for maybe
listen to one local radio show.
that is all, the J Pitt Show. No, I don't, dude. I don't like U of L games. U of L games. If I could go to an app specifically to stream a U of L game when the U of L game is on and not need YouTube TV, I wouldn't have it. We don't need it. I fall asleep with the TV on pretty much every night. And I watch about 30 seconds of it, and it's always Netflix, and it's always something I've already seen before. It's weird. I don't know. I don't get it.
I watch YouTube 90% of the time.
Do you really?
Not YouTube TV, YouTube.
Yeah, you just regular
And
YouTube.
I pay for YouTube Premium, which I've said is the best, probably $15 a month I spend because there's no ads. Mm-hmm. And you save so much time. You don't have it interrupt. It's great.
I'm sitting here wondering if I have premium on Netflix. I don't know. What is premium?
YouTube TV does not get you YouTube Premium.
No. I'm asking about Netflix.
Oh, Netflix.
Yeah. What's a basic plan and what's a premium tier?
I don't know. Maybe ads.
I don't have ads.
So you probably have premium.
So you can pay and still have ads?
Probably. I think so.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Once again, don't know.
Boomer.
Do you know what you pay a month?
I have no idea. And I'm pretty sure I wouldn't notice the difference between $17.99
since you're on
and
Netflix, you've been watching anything good on there?
No, not really. I mean, there were a few. I did turn on the miniseries about David Beckham and
I've heard that's good.
I just started it. I did watch about almost an episode last night before I cashed out. So
we started watching The Fall of the House of Usher.
Oh yeah,
pretty good.
Okay,
yeah, it's well done. Good actors.
I've saw that. It was like number one in the recommended. I did not partake.
Tell you, I'm going to put myself on blast a little bit right here. To tell you what we have been watching too, and it's Golden Bachelor.
Golden Bachelor. Yeah. I knew it. I know you haven't.
I'll swear it's hilarious.
Oh, you are on blast.
It's funny. Are you on blast if you say it about yourself? It's good. I'll just say it.
It's good. It's good. Do they hand golden roses?
No, it would have been a good idea. Actually, I don't know. Maybe.
Are there golden
I'll watch
roses?
it.
I don't know.
They could probably spray paint them. It's funny. I put it on. We just took a family vacation, and my wife and I put it on, and my dad was, "What is this?" And by the end of it, he's crying, laughing at it, and I'm pretty sure they've been watching it too. So I hope he listens to this episode, and he's like, "You just told everybody I'm watching The Golden Bachelor."
So he's watching it too?
He might be. He thought it was funny.
No.
He was mad we put it on at first, and it's pretty funny. It's better than the other ones.
That's funny. Okay, well, Ryan, I won't give you too much grief. I've probably never seen a single episode of The Bachelor, but there's other things. There's other things that I should.
It's Jen's birthday, so happy birthday, Jen!
Yeah, absolutely,
and she should make you watch The Golden Bachelor.
I will say this: she doesn't watch The Golden Bachelor, but I did. I'll put myself on an equal blast. When we were significantly younger and it was a thing, I did always watch Sex in the City with her. I did do that. It's only 24 minutes. You can get over it. That's allowed. That's allowed to be said. Come on. FTC won't get us for that one, will they, Jim? All right. Didn't think so. All right. Well, that's all the time we got in this segment. You're going to want to hang around after the ad sponsors for the Louisville Events Draft coming to you live here on the J Pitt Show right after the break on Talk Radio 1080.
Welcome back to the J Pitt Show, Talk Radio 1080, real news, real talk. We're back. All right. So last week we started a new segment, and we're going to keep doing this every episode, and we're doing different drafts of things in Louisville. So last week we did best restaurants in Louisville. Jay, who do you think won that one based off responses?
I don't know about based on responses, but I think I definitely won.
I do not think so.
I think
my poll on my story had me winning.
I feel like, but they're your friends. I feel like Conhuevos and Ramen House put you down.
Oh, I had people comment about Conhuevos.
Well, yeah, it was the ringer on your golf team, but that doesn't count.
Why not?
Well, I mean, I'm telling you, I had people comment on Barvetti. Okay, I had people comment on Blue Dog. I'm telling you, it's a thing.
Okay.
It's a thing. I think I won, but you think you won, so that's okay.
Yeah, we got to figure out a way to do this where we do have a winner every week.
Yeah.
And we can post it on yours. You need to do a poll on your story, and that's how we need to do it.
I did it. Do you know this? I'm just going to sound awful, but can I look at a poll on a story that's already expired? How do I do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I forgot to go back and look at the results after 24 hours.
Yeah. What we could do is post on the story. You could just put the list of the 5 things without whose is whose and who won, and then we post the video later about who picked what. And that way it's anonymous.
Ooh. We could just give the results.
The results.
And say vote based on these results, and then later we can reveal.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Sometimes I have good ideas.
Sometimes. For those of you that didn't catch that earlier in the show, I said something about having a good idea just before we went on air today, and Ryan goes, yeah, sometimes. Literally deadpan dry. Yep, sometimes.
Okay.
All right, let's get it going.
Yeah, let's go so we don't run out of time.
Snake draft, as always.
Yeah.
With respect to the first 3 picks, basically.
Yes.
So I go 2 because you got 2 last time.
No, you got 2 last time.
Oh, no,
went
that's
first,
right. I go
so
1.
You get to go first this time.
I go 1, you go next 2. See, I feel like
this is probably the worst one to do this with. I would rather have 1 here.
Okay, because it's obvious.
Yes.
Because it's super obvious.
It's obvious. So what we're doing, do you want to explain best Louisville events?
Best Louisville events. Okay, so it has to be a uniquely Louisville event. So, for example, what was the example I gave earlier? Like, we can't say a Louisville football game.
No, we said you can.
We did say that?
Yeah,
okay.
you can.
All right. What did I say we couldn't do? I'm blanking. But anyway, it needs to be a specific Louisville event. Yeah. It has to be located in Louisville.
Like annual.
And it has to be annual.
Yeah.
That's right. I think the example I gave was the Ryder Cup, for example. Like the Ryder Cup was here, but it's not a Louisville event because who knows if it ever will be again. We've got the PGA coming back up. It's been here multiple times, but it's not here every year.
It's not something you can come to Louisville and plan a trip around yearly.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So let's get started. I'm going to go with number 1. We also determined just before the break, okay, because it was so obvious, I think what number 1 would be. Obviously, the Kentucky Derby. We're going to include the Kentucky Oaks along with the Kentucky Derby because we really don't want to mince words as to which one is which. Yeah. So with the number 1 pick, as obvious, I will take the Derby and the Oaks.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Good job, but not really. Derby, Derby's so fun, man.
It is.
It's like
there's nothing like it.
Every time that week or 2 weeks gets there, you can feel the city has a different buzz about it. Everybody's just gearing up for it, and it's about to be a blast.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll tell you something crazy. I've been to Oaks. I've still never been to Derby.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're definitely going this year, though.
Crazy. Yeah. You got to go, man.
Yeah, we're definitely going this year. Oaks
go.
is a blast, too.
I went through phases, though. I will say I went through phases. We went to Oaks more than Derby when I was closer to your age. For some reason, it was just easier to get all of our friends together. It was easier to get good seats with the slightly smaller crowd, even though it's still 100,000 plus. And that was a good thing. Then we kind of graduated to trying to do both. And then we did both for several years.
Oof.
Well, hold on. It's like great when you have really like young kids and you can get a sitter and like grandparents will help or the kids can go stay with grandma and grandpa and you can do your 2-day thing. But then it gets exhausting. And then you like move past it. And then you have like kids stuff and all that. So we're kind of in the go once early in the week and pick 1 Derby or Oaks, which is, I will say it's nice. And I'm assuming we're not going to say Thurby as another third choice, but we try to go Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday along with a Friday or Saturday. Yeah. And you still get plenty of the Derby experience.
All right. I'm going to pick my first one now.
Okay.
And I think you're going to be a little shocked. St. Patty's Day Parade down there on Bardstown Road.
That's a good one.
It's a blast.
That's
Look forward to it every year, and everybody goes all out. It's so fun.
That's a good one. I wouldn't have went there, but I'm okay with it. Certainly making the list. Not sure I would have went number 2, but
All right.
You're all good.
So I get number 2 as well. Let's go.
Well, this is 3, so you got 2 and 3. Your
Well,
second pick.
Yes,
Okay,
my second pick.
gotcha.
Yeah. I'm going to go with, I think it's the most popular, Bourbon and Beyond.
Bourbon and Beyond is on my list.
All right.
Good one. I mean, I would have taken that one for sure. I don't know that I could have taken it at that point in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
All right, number 2 for me. I'm going to stick with the trend, and I'm going to go Forecastle.
Good pick.
I'm going to go Forecastle. Forecastle probably would have come above Bourbon and Beyond for me, but it's really, frankly, because I've only been to Bourbon and Beyond once. I didn't see acts that I really loved, and I've seen some really good people at Forecastle.
Yeah. Forecastle is the younger crowd now.
It has become that.
Yeah. I was trying to decide if I was going to go Forecastle or Bourbon and Beyond first, and I feel like, well, we didn't have Forecastle, or they're not having it this year or last year. I can't remember. So,
But I still think, I still think it's a Louisville thing.
mm-hmm, absolutely. All right. So you have Derby and Forecastle. I have St. Patty's Day and Bourbon and Beyond. And with my third pick, I am going to go with a fall Louisville football game.
A fall Louisville football game.
Yeah. Night game.
Like,
Very specific. When the stadium's rocking, when they beat Notre Dame the other day and it was perfect weather. And that's hard to beat.
oh, well, yeah, it is. I'm certainly a fan. I'm a season ticket holder.
We can just say Louisville football game to keep it simple.
Louisville football, I'm good with that. Louisville football is it. I think you can't leave it off. But the fact that you can't say which, why don't you say the UK U of L game?
Yeah, it's fun. It's a blast.
Because it's every other year. It's not every year, but it's in Louisville every other year, and that's a big game. Just because we've lost it the last couple of years, I have a feeling that
hasn't been fun lately.
Have a feeling that trend's about to reverse. All right, number 3. I'm gonna go.
So you have Derby and Forecastle.
I have Derby and
third.
Forecastle, and I'm going with my third pick. I'm gonna go St. James Art Fair.
I had that on my list.
St. James Art Fair going a little rogue from my first 2, but I'm going to go St. James Art Fair.
Yeah, I had it on there. I haven't been in a couple of years, so
it always seems to get.
If it was going to get taken, but
it seems to get sacrificed most fall days for me. But that's just because we've got kids that play football and it's tough. But it's big. It's great for the city, and I think it's a bit timeless. So,
all right, I'm playing to the time of the year with my next pick. So I have St. Patty's Day, Bourbon and Beyond, Louisville football game, and I'm going to go the Jack-o'-lantern Spectacular.
Jack-o'-lantern, I like it.
We're going tonight.
Are you?
Yeah, going with Emily and Todd.
Nice. I love that. Great event. We've actually done it as a client event in the past, where we had clients come out and we gave out tickets. Are they still doing the car drive through?
I don't think
deal?
so.
So you can walk through it again. It's much better when you can walk.
Yeah. We walked last year.
Maybe that was a COVID thing.
Yeah,
maybe
I think it was.
Okay.
Because walking was so bad. Let's not.
Walking is way cooler. All right, running out of time, so we got to keep it moving.
Now we got 2 minutes.
I'm gonna throw time of the year as well. I'm gonna go brew at the zoo.
Brew or boo?
Brew. Oh, I guess I was thinking it's in the fall. It's not in the fall actually. Boo at the zoo is in the fall, obviously, but I'm going brew. I'm going brew, not boo.
We're going to Boo at the Zoo Saturday.
Yeah, we've done that. We do that every year too.
Have never been.
All right, so. Number four with my fourth pick, brew. BREW at the zoo.
Okay, so that was your fourth. We both have one more pick in a minute and a half. So with my last pick, this is a very tough one because there's a few I feel like could play to the crowd, but I'm going to play to what I enjoy, Waterfront Wednesdays.
Waterfront Wednesdays. That's a good one. I can get behind that. Let's see. No complaints. No complaints there. I gotta pull the trigger on one. Number 5.
And last pick of the draft.
Mr.
Irrelevant.
I'm gonna steal out of Ryan's pocket The Derby Mini.
The Derby Mini.
Derby Mini, man.
Well, it's only a mini if you do the mini.
Well, right. You can do the full, but
Yeah.
as I learned in 2007, okay, only one of 11,000 of 11,000 competitors do the full marathon. So
Yeah.
it should be called the mini if it's not. But yeah, the Derby Festival Marathon or Mini Marathon.
So I thought about that one. I'm surprised.
You're surprised that I took it?
Yeah.
I think it's big. I've done the mini 3 times. I've done the full marathon once just because I haven't done it in the last probably 7 or 8 years. Doesn't mean I don't like it. So in recap, before we get out of here, with my picks, I went Derby and Oaks, Forecastle in the second slot, St. James Art Fair, Brew at the Zoo, and the Derby Mini. Ryan, the St. Patty's Parade, Bourbon and Beyond, Louisville football, Jack-o'-lantern Spectacular, and Waterfront Wednesdays.
Yep.
I think this is a pretty well matched.
I think so too.
Well-matched
I
draft
also
pick.
had on here like Bats game, Louisville City. There's Louder Than
Life, the
Kentucky
balloon
State Fair,
the balloon race, the State Fair,
Thunder over Louisville,
which I didn't want to go. That's too big, and since I already had Derby, I thought the mini was probably getting close enough. But I think the mini is important.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, guys, that's all the time we got for you this week. We appreciate you signing on and listening to us here at the J Pitts Show. We're going to be back next week. We appreciate everything and all the engagement right here on Talk Radio 1080. We will see you soon. For Ryan Harris, I'm Jay Pitts.
Peace.